Jaya Giri Varadhari Vanatira Vānaprastha Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Kantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Translation and friends, and you want to follow the trends, the latest music, the latest clothes, getting so many followers on, on Instagram, whatever. And it's stressful. We hear that suicide is there just due to the pressures of social media, even like tweens, before teenagers. What to speak of later. So then 20 years of that just wasted on the body and its labels. Then say one decides to start a family and gets in a relationship, then it's all focused on, okay, that relationship, it's us against the world, you and me. And then you build your little empire. You have your house, your picket fence with your chariot at the front, and then your job, and that the center of existence is a little bigger, but a little extended, but still all about you. And then you have your 2.5 kids. I don't know how you have half a kid, but and that can go on for another 20 or so. Like, you have to raise the kids. You have so many dreams for the kids that have to turn out how you planned. When they're born, okay, they're going to be, well, speaking from an Indian background, okay, my son would be doctor, would be engineer, would be lawyer, These are the three, the top three. And, they'll show off to their family, friends. Me and my brother felt this pressure growing up. It's like, hey, why aren't you like so-and-so? They're studying medicine. We couldn't get the good inter-score. We were like, so much pressure is there. So you get your job, whatever it is, and then you build your family. And then you have, I don't know if you've actually did what your parents wanted. Turned out how your parents wanted you to turn out. I don't know. You did. Yeah, so you can imagine, like, in that position for parents, like, you have a child, you plan the whole life for them. So you're just waiting to shape them so they're settled. And then already, 40 years is gone. And then on top of that, half of the time, sleeping. Half of your life you're sleeping. So out of 100 years, and then in your final years, you're just habituated to work, actually. If you work for 20, 30, 40 years, I'm going to retire. You don't want to retire. One time I was traveling in the van, and we're in a town called Lennox Heads. It's like south of Byron Bay. And we just finished Harinam, we come back to the van. He goes, oh, your Hare Krishna's still around. I go, yeah, I'm still around. He's like, oh, yeah. So do you work? So I told him, nah, I retired when I was 20. He's like, what? You're tired, sweaty? I'm still working. How old do you think I am? I'm thinking, I don't know, 55 or something. He goes, no, I'm 72, I'm still working. And I go, why don't you stop? He goes, no, I like it. You know, I've got something to do. It's just, you can't stop. It's like, what am I doing now? I'll retire, what do I do? How will I feel useful? But devotees, they always have something to do. Devotional service. And it's purifying oneself. It's you heighten your consciousness more and more. And this can be done from even in the womb, like Prahlad Maharaj did. There's no material situation that one can be barred from devotional service. Even in the middle of surface paradise, even in amongst so many drunkards and, you know, druggies, or, you know, so many stages for sense enjoyment. No, it's still possible. By the mercy of the devotees, they're out there chanting the holy name. All of you guys. Engaging them in devotional service. You know, the Cetodharpana Marjanam, all that misconception of I and mine is wiped away. And they start to realize who they really are. I'm not this body. I'm a spirit soul, part and parcel of the Supreme Soul. And my purpose in life is to give pleasure to the Supreme Lord Krishna. They feel that. And this is what the greatest happiness is. It's not in sex, it's not in drugs, it's not in money, it's not in prestige. Nadanam najanam nasundarim kavitam va jagadisha kamya. Mama jamani jamani ishra bhavata bhakti haitukita. No. Yes. That Lord Chaitanya prays, I don't want any wealth, I don't want beautiful women, I don't want any prestige. I don't want to be known as a great orator or poet. All I want is your devotional service, birth after birth. And who is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? It's Krishna. He's the supreme enjoyer. He knows how to enjoy. And how does he enjoy? He's thinking about Srimati Radharani. I'm the supreme enjoyer, but when Srimati Radharani serves me, she experiences a million times more happiness by loving me. And then when she pushes someone towards me to serve me, then she experiences 10 million times more enjoyment. What is that taste? What is it about me? And what is that taste about serving me? So God wants the supreme enjoyment. He feels like he's missing out. So he comes down as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to experience the greatest enjoyment. He becomes a devotee. He becomes a Harinam devotee. That love of God manifests as the Harinam Sankirtan. We talk about an external reason, yes, to deliver the fallen souls. And then he has this internal moment, let me taste what Radha is tasting. But how does that manifest? Okay, it's internal, but how does it manifest in chanting and dancing? And just a side effect, everyone is delivered. Lord Chaitanya says, I am named Vishramba, which means one who maintains the whole universe. How can I be known as the maintainer of the whole universe if I don't give all the living entities love of God? And the way the love of God is attained is by Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sava Kodanoi, Shravanadi Sudachita Koridoi. That Krishna Prema is not from outside, it's actually inside and needs to be awakened by Shravanadi, by hearing and what follows from hearing, chanting. So what's happening out there at school is it's a universal event when the Harinam takes place. The demigods are like, what's going on here? How are they making so much advancement? They have no qualification whatsoever. Because of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. He doesn't care about qualification. He just cares about just giving it for free. Namo Mahamaranyaya Krishna Parapadayate. It's given it freely. Everyone has a chance to take this mercy of love of God. And they're getting flooded. And for some reason, I don't know why, we go all around the world, but for some reason when you're in the most fallen place, where people are so degraded, and you chant the holy name, people just go crazy after it. The mercy is flowing even more. We were just in Vrindavan. We're chanting there, it's nice to chant there and have fun and see the temple. We receive, like when you travel around the world, you're on the street every day. So you're distributing the mercy. But you also pick up a lot of contamination along the way. Once you enter the holy Dham, you just feel like you're cleansed of that contamination. And then you chant there, you do Harinam there. We did Padayatra. But it's not like you're fighting against Maya. It's like you're receiving blessings. You know, all the Dhambasis, they're like, you know, Radhe! They wave, not like this, but it goes all the way back. Yeah. And then some of them join in, and they appreciate it. We receive blessings from them, from the holy Dham. It says that Nam resides in the Dham. It's the home of the holy name. Krishna is the holy name. Nama Chintamani Krishna's Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Punasato Nicho Mukto Binatam Nami Namino. That holy name is like Chintamani. It fulfills all your desires. Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha, it's dynamic, it's alive. Rasa Vigraha, it's Krishna who's the Akila Rasa Mrita Murti, the reservoir of all pleasure. And Puno, it's complete, there's nothing missing. Everyone feels incomplete because due to incomplete knowledge of the complete whole. But this Harinam Sankirtan is Vidyavada Jivanam. It's the life of all transcendental knowledge. That you get the absolute truth in the form of sound just for you. And you can touch the absolute truth. You can touch Krishna with your tongue. That's how intimate this chanting of the holy name is. There's nothing missing. Sudo, it's pure. It's not contaminated. Many times we put these videos of schoolies, Harinams, and there's always like some Hindu type things go, no, this is incorrect, you know. Why are you making fun of our Hindu Dharma? And, you know, they are all drunk and, you know, half naked and, you know, this is wrong. This is incorrect. They are contaminating this chanting. No, Krishna is known as a Papa Viram. He's prophylactic. Prophylactic. Prabhupada teaches us so many new words, you know. Prophylactic. It means that when something gets in touch with a contaminated thing, it purifies that, and it itself is not contaminated. So just like if there's some urine in an area and the sun, it can purify the whole area. But the sun itself is not contaminated. So Krishna's like that. Krishna's name is like that. It'll just purify everything and everyone. The whole atmosphere is transformed into Vrindavan. Goloka Premadam, Harinam Sankirtan. It descends when Harinam Sankirtan takes place. That's why we feel so much bliss. And especially when many people join in. We get the mercy of Gaura-Nitai. And Lord Nityananda, his only mission is to glorify Lord Chaitanya is the most merciful. So he's going for the most fallen, Jagai Madai. There used to be two just Jagai Madai back then. Now the whole world is full of Jagai Madais, wasting their life. And he's delivering them. We're just instruments. They're doing everything. When I was in Melbourne, I was trying to do Harinam. I was in the ashram. It was only for a few months. And then, you know, the temple president calls me in. He goes, okay, what do you want to do with your life? I go, all I want to do is do Harinam and read Srimad Bhagavatam. And he goes, okay, you're in charge of Harinam. I was like, huh? Who's going to listen to me? You know, I'm just a bhakta here, you know. He's like, yeah, Krishna will help you. I guess he didn't know how much Krishna will help me. And so I was trying to ask the voice, please come, please come. And I didn't know about this like Indian false ego where like Australian or Westerner, say if you don't want to do something, you tell it in your face. It's like, come and hire it? Nah, I don't want to. Yeah, like this. But if you tell an Indian, you know, like, please come to Harinam. Yes. But they just don't come. Yes. Or they'll say, I'd try, you know. I'll definitely try, you know. And they don't come. couldn't understand this, I grew up here, It's like, how can you lie to me in my face? So I was really desperate because I took shelter of Kadamba Swami, and he instructed me, okay, if you want to conquer lust, make Harinam big. And so I was like, oh, this is the Guru's instruction to make it my life and soul. This is the secret of success, the satisfaction of the Guru. Okay, I'm going to do it. I was very passionate about it. And then no one would come, and I was like depressed. So I was like in front of Gauranitai. And I said, my dear Gauranitai, will you please come on Harinam? And then, I was really like begging. And I heard a voice shouting at me. And it said, what do you mean? You never go on Harinam. I was like, huh? So I started thinking about it more. And I was thinking, oh yeah, they're always on Harinam. We just join them. They're always out there. We get an opportunity to be with them. This is direct association of Gauranitai. When you're out there doing Harinam Sankirtan. Nitya, it's eternal. These are the eternal pastimes of the Lord. And there's like Goloka Vrindavan, the supreme planet in the spiritual sky. So it's split into two. There's like Vrindavan, Radha and Krishna pastimes, and there's Gauranitai's pastimes. It's both up there. And sometimes they manifest and see each other taking place. So they're side by side. And so when we're chanting and dancing, my meditation is like, especially with Harinam Ruchi for 8 years. So Vishnjan, he would always be like, okay, we're leaving, No. So, I was thinking like, yeah, we're leaving, like every time we're on Harinam, we're closer and closer on the path back to Godhead. And then we're taking people who wants to come. Some people come along the way and then they, get diverted, or they stop, and they'll come later, but we just keep going. Each Harinam, we slowly going back to Godhead, like this. So we're leaving, back to Godhead. So this is eternal, chanting and dancing with Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement. What you'll do here, we'll do up there. Mukto, it's on the liberated platform. Mamcho Riv Charena Bhakti Yogana Sevate, Sangunan Sametetam Brahmbuya Yakalpate. The one who is unceasing, engaging in Bhakti Yoga, they transcend the three modes of material nature. They're on the platform of Brahman, you're on the spiritual platform. Even these kids. Namno hi yavati shakti papa ni harine hare tabakatam shatnoti patakam pataki nara. Just by chanting one name of Krishna can purify you of so many reactions you can commit in a lifetime. This is how much advancement they get by chanting, by screaming the holy name. It's Namabas. Just like Ajamil, he got the darshan of the Vishnu Dutas when the Yamadutas came for him. He was calling for his son Narayan. These kids don't know why they're chanting, but they're chanting. And they feel something, they're getting Namabas, and that splashes onto us. We're busy chanting our Namaparat, our offensive chanting, and then they chant Namabas, wow. It's no offense. And Abhinatam Nami Namino, it's not different from Krishna. Krishna is there with you. You were searching for love that's beyond time, space, and thought. That can only happen in the spiritual world with Krishna. And then when you're chanting amongst devotees in Harinam Sankirtan, Lord Chaitanya gives you that. It awakens your heart again. We suffer from broken hearts many times. We need to wake it up again. And that is done by Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement. And we are part of it. At the same time, we get benefit. So this is kind of our meditation here at Schoolies. So we don't have to waste our life if we live for 100 years. We can engage in enchanting. We sleep, our sleep is, sometimes you'll be dreaming you're chanting in the dream, right? Sometimes I dream on Harinam, you know. I was in the ashram in Melbourne, and then someone heard me speak and go, "Come on, 2 lines!" So, even if you do devotional service in the mind, it still counts. Just like that poor Brahman, he heard in the class that service in the mind also counts. If you don't have the paraphernalia to worship the deity because you're too poor, you can do it in the mind. So he's like, "Oh, I'll do it too." So in his mind, he started like going to like the holy places with golden pots to bring to his deity, and then, you know, pouring like this. And then he'll cook for his deity, you know, so many items. And he cooks some sweet rice, and sweet rice is really nice cold, served cold. Revenge and sweet rice is best served cold. Better serve sweet rice. So he wanted to check, is it too hot? So he put his finger in the meditation, he put his finger in there and he burnt it. Oh, like this. And he woke up from meditation, his finger was burnt. And in Vaikuntha, Lord Narayan is laughing. And Lakshmi Devi is saying, "My Lord, why? What amuses you? What's going on?" He's like, "Oh, my Lord, my devotee is really thinking about me, you know." And that Brahmana, he actually got liberated and went back to Vaikuntha. So what we do during the day, you know, that will become what's in the mind and the intelligence. And then if your mind and intelligence is purified, then your activities become purified. So let's use the rest of this life. We don't have much left. You may live to 100, maybe 67. So we're going to have 30, 40 years left maybe. I don't know how old you guys are. I don't know. If you're younger, you're 20, so you got more time. But most likely we'll live maybe 30, 40 years left. What are you going to do with it? This opportunity has never been given before. And we're going to give others too. So we get the credit of their chanting as well. This is a great opportunity to get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. Harinam Sankirtan ki? Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Any comments or questions? And you're going to say it in this little white thing. Some realizations from the Harinams that we've had last night.
I have one.
Okay, here, hold this.
Oh, is this a talking piece?
This little mic, yeah.
Oh, this is cool.
Yeah, it's going to record it.
Oh, okay. So one thing I really, really love and saw yesterday, and I've seen it in the years that have gone by, but I noticed it more so, especially when we have this huge Harinam, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare sign, Mahamantra sign. And you know, it's funny because they've just had their school uniform on, so they've come out in their school uniform. So they look like they're in, you know, school mood. But then when they're pointing to the sign, it's like it suits the flavour. They've finished year 12. They've finished their graduation and they're in their uniform and they're like, Hare Krishna. And they're really, really pointing. It's like they've graduated not only from their year 12, but they've just now instantly learned the Mahamantra, and together it's like that is the ultimate achievement, is that they've finished, they've graduated, but they're doing it in such a mood that, you know, it's acknowledging that they've completed that time, they've done that part of the journey, and they're ready to go. And they all come running to the kirtan. That's what I love the most. They run, they hear it, they see it, leading the kirtans and dancing, and they're just like, they sprint. Back in the day when I was a small kid and I went on Harinam, people didn't come running to the kirtan. They were like, get a job. And so, you know, like that upward shift and that change you can see in the mood, and that you're connecting with them even at a young age, and they really, really have so much taste. And they see it when we're all out here. We're relishing it. They're absolutely loving it. And yeah, we can all do that upward shift together and help them, help us. And go forward. So
those last two girls, tomorrow night.
yeah. Yesterday, and in the middle of the kirtan, and they were like, one more song, and Hari Namananda's there like, oh, okay, okay, I've got one for you. And it's not Hari Krishna, it's Maha Mantra every time, but you know, for them, it might have been the first time they heard it, and they believe that song is really from their opportune moment, that they've just stumbled upon it. When are they going to stumble upon it otherwise? So, and that they were leading the kirtan after that. That was really inspiring. And the girl even wanted to, we've got a deal, she's going to come at the end of today, or probably by 7 or 11 p.m. tonight, and she's going to hold that sign, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, and she's going to be the one pointing to the words, holding the sign while all the onlookers are there. So I'm really thrilled, I'm really excited, as we all will be dancing and jumping and pouring our hearts out tonight. So I can't wait. And it's still going. We've got so much more kirtan.
Hopefully we don't die.
Do or die. So yeah, I can't wait. Be there or be square. And that's what the girl said. So yeah, I think we're all going to have a good time.
Thank you.
Anyone else who has their awesome thought?
It's a good reminder, actually, and puts things in perspective. That, because actually coming from a Catholic background, I would have similar comments where it's like, oh, you're young, don't waste time with this religion and spirituality. You know, enjoy yourself, and then when you're 80, maybe you can figure it out. So, but my mid was, why waste time now? If this is the purpose of life, why waste time wasting time on something I know is temporary in the first place? Makes no sense. So the opportunity we have to participate in the Lord's eternal Sankirtan to help the youth realize this purpose in life is just fantastic. And like Mataji, I'm excited. So,
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. Yeah, Nita is saying for 3 hours. You must have something.
Oh no. I don't have any.
Yeah, that's okay. Anyone else?
Anyway.
No? Okay.
I like the point you were making about how if we go on Harinam, then we are actually associating with Gaurnitai, because they're always there. And then all these kids also get the association of Gaurnitai without even knowing it. Yeah, so we are the instrument bringing them, Gaurnitai. That's pretty far out, I think.
Yeah, they're always there.
Yeah. You can say something.
I got 2 questions. First
Okay.
is, can you explain how, these kids, they come and join us, chant, how does that affect their rest of their life in Krishna consciousness?
Okay.
First question. Second is...
I'll do one at a time.
Yeah.
So how does this chanting
Yeah.
affect that?
So, because they join us just once, right?
Yeah.
So, even devotees, they question, like, they just join you once and they go.
Yeah.
So, they're like, it's not actually helping. Even
Yeah.
though, they chanted just once.
Yeah.
So, if you can explain that. And then
I mean, if you ask any devotee, most people don't even remember their first exposure to Krishna consciousness. And if you were to look back, it's usually a build-up. You got a little mercy here, a little mercy there, here and there, And, this devotee said this to me. So it was never really like, okay, the first time, bang. Unless you're like, previous life, you're like already doing it. You're just waiting for devotees to just rock up. But obviously the majority of these kids, like young kids, they're all from North Queensland, and there's no temples there. I drove all the way up to Cairns, and there's the Sunshine Coast. It has so many people, and there's no temple there. Then you're like in Bundaberg, and then there's like the Whit Sundays, Early Beach, nothing there. You can go higher in Ayr and Townsville, there's nothing there. And then Cairns, nothing there. So like for all these people, the nearest temple is Brisbane, which is like a 10-hour drive at least. Even the Sunshine Coast, like a 2-hour, 4-hour drive. Who's gonna do that? So they've never seen. Okay, maybe back in the day, devotees would go all over the country doing Harinam on the street all the time in the 80s and 90s. That's why when you meet like older people in their 50s and 60s and 70s, like, oh wow, I haven't seen ya. Where you been? I've seen you for 30 years. Where you been? Wow. So they've also seen it, but then they're very favorable, right? So, I missed you guys, So it was like something in their heart. Like I remember I was in Bundaberg. I'm on my own, drumming. And then this guy from across the road, he's like, Hare Krishna. He doesn't even look to cross. He's just running across. He's like, Hare Krishna. Oh, so nice to see you. Have you got any of that halva? Oh, I missed the taste. I haven't tasted that for like 20 years. Like, you got a restaurant? You got a restaurant? I'm just there on my own as if I have halva. Yeah, I started a restaurant. I just rocked up here. So I mean, it's like ne vikrama nastasti patavai ne vichate sunapasya dhamasya. Traite mahatubhaya. Yes. So even like the smallest advancement on this path of bhakti, there's no loss, it doesn't diminish. And one is saved from the greatest type of danger, which is an animal birth. They're all destined. It says in the Bhagavatam, these kids are destined to become cats, dogs, and hogs. Because they've engaged in devotional service, they're saved. We even just saved them from hell. Guaranteed they're going to hell. But because they did devotional service, they're not going to go. So it's a big deal. When they engage in just using their tongue or hearing the holy name, it's a big deal. We cannot measure it. We're so small to measure the amount of benefit that's there. That's why we have to refer to scripture. And that's why it's considered an offense to think that the chanting of the holy name, the glories of the chanting of holy name is exaggeration. So whoever says that, oh, you didn't make an effect in their lives by doing this, they only saw you once, well, maybe go back to the scripture. Because the scripture says no, they're as good as delivered. They're just. So I mean, we said this. We pretty much ruined their material life and started their spiritual life. So they'll get some mercy along the way. Mercy attracts more mercy, and they'll come more and more. But we are making attempts, so like, to see who wants more mercy. That's the idea. Some people don't want so much more mercy, but some are more open. So then, okay, we'll give them more. But also mercy is more exposure. So because Krishna's all attractive, they have to get attracted eventually. So you just keep giving Krishna like that. We'll keep coming here. And I know we meet, I'm sure in Brisbane, you meet so many kids who came to schoolies. Oh, I remember seeing you guys 7 years ago, 6 years ago, 4 years ago, like this. So they may have never seen you, but first impressions last. When they first see you for the first time, they get this so much amazing experience. Next time they meet a book distributor, they'll definitely take a book. Next time they meet a devotee or they'll somehow find a restaurant like that. Or if they get a big position, and devotees want to do Ratha Yatras or do something, a festival somewhere. Oh, I remember you guys at school, you were great. Okay, let's give you the permit to take over the country. I mean, whatever it is. I mean, we don't know what Krishna's plan is. He's in control of the whole thing. We're just sending it out. What Krishna wants to do with them, it's up to them. It's up to Krishna and the individual, how they want to connect further and further. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Walk.
Makes sense. Yeah, I just wanted to clarify because, I hear a lot even from devotees, like what impact you made.
That's just Kali Yuga kicking in the movement. It's just Kali doing his magic.
We don't do any impact, so we're not supposed to do. What you say?
But you're.
Okay, offering is coming.
But it makes sense, like.
Yeah. Okay, second question.
Okay, second is you mentioned about wasting life, like most of, like 50% of the lecture was just about wasting life. So I was thinking about my own life. So I was thinking
It's a good
my
idea.
schedules, you know, like okay, I chant 16 rounds, I try to do deity service, you know, I go on Harinam. So then I was thinking, even though I'm doing all of these things, am I still wasting my time as per the purport that you read? Or do I have to do more? I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah. So my spiritual master explained how to sort of fill in the gaps. So when you first come to the devotional service, then you sort of stop sinful activity, follow the four regulative principles, and you do like the stock stuff like chanting your 16 rounds, reading a little bit, associating with devotees, with some deity worship. So that's like putting big rocks in your jar. You know, say your consciousness is like a jar. Put big rocks in, you know. And then is there still some gaps in there, right? So the idea is to fill in the gaps because Maya can still sneak in there. So then, okay, then you may do some study. That's like something like that. Or something more, you get Brahman initiation, do some more service in another way. Or you start preaching, or you start cultivating. So that's filling in the gaps more, you know, especially preaching, because along with preaching, there's a lot of background work required. And then, I don't know how much deeper you can go, but like you know, eventually you have to do something more refined, like sand, and that will fully fill up your jar of consciousness. So, it's up. We do need to introspect. Okay, I'm doing something, but I'm not fully Krishna conscious. So then you sort of introspect where are the gaps, and then you consult your spiritual master how you can fill in the gaps. And they can observe you. They just look at you and they know your consciousness. And, you know, just with a one-liner, they know exactly what you need to do. You know, you're expecting like a big explanation, this and that. It's like, no, they're like, you know, like a Zen master. You know, you got like the young fighter, you know, he's like, ah, yeah, he's like, oh, big, you know. But then the Zen, you know, the master, he's like this old man, but he just is like, you know, and he paralyzes someone. He doesn't need to move too much, but he does a lot, you know. So the spiritual master, he can see what you need, what your situation is. He knows the scripture, he knows what Krishna wants you to do. And he just said, okay, just do this. You know, and then everything else sort of follows. So introspect, find those gaps. If you're unsure how to fill up those gaps or need the strength for it, then you consult senior devotees or your spiritual master.
Thank you.
Start dreaming about going on Harinam, and that's like where the gap is.
And that's okay, yeah. 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 So, yeah, you can, something to look at. Okay, anyone else? For the offering? Okay, give her the thing.
Like, it's sort of asking the same thing again, but I heard in a lecture that when you do Harinam, the people, even if they hear or chant, they get agyata sukriti. But the lecturer said that the potency of it is not very much, so even if they might hear Hare Krishna, it's not a big effect. So that's been in my head, like, why did they say that, you know, like, is it true, or if you can expand.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the more knowledge you have of the glories of the holy name, the more you'll get into it, you know. That's a good example of something beneficial for us. You know, maybe like you're a bit hesitant to get into. Maybe school, I don't know. You know, they say, you know, I don't want to do school, why, you know, I'm scared. You know, but then you sort of get into it and then you hear about the benefits of education and then you're like, oh wow, this education can allow me expand my horizons so much I didn't know about. So I guess in that sense, they may not on their own account be so enthusiastic to dive into it due to lack of knowledge of the holy name. So that's why we distribute books. there's like a conversation with Umupati and Prabhupada, some morning walk, and Prabhupada says that those who are intelligent, when they hear the holy name, they'll just keep chanting. But for those who are foolish, we give them philosophy. And then we see with that pastime with Lord Chaitanya and the Mayavadis of Benares, you know, they couldn't appreciate, they studied Vedanta, everything, but they couldn't appreciate the Sankirtan. So then Mahaprabhu preached philosophy to them and, you know, destroyed their Mayavadi with humility, and then they could appreciate, obviously, after that. So that's pretty much what the books are for, to convince others. And in terms of Ganta Sukriti, that works in a big way. So we, you know, quoted this verse, Neva Kramanasasi, it's like the bank balance verse, spiritual bank balance. So they get so much credit in their bank balance, but they can't access it. But due to meeting devotees more often or getting some knowledge, they make the decision, okay, I'll go for this bhakti yoga, I'll go for Krishna consciousness. Then they access that bank account. So it can be like millions, billions of dollars, but they just didn't access. So yeah, let's add to their bank account. It, you know, they'll figure it out eventually. Is that okay? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, sure. There you go.
I'm just interested, when Krishna takes us home, should we have like pure prema, like feeling all the time separation, and only at that stage Krishna accepts us home, or we can just or if devotee, for example, all life serves Krishna, but he doesn't get this prem, and so he will get another birth and another birth, and like how to get this prem? Yeah, maybe it's
How
like
to get prema.
yeah, like how to get it.
Prema is asking how to get prema.
Yeah, yeah, how to get
set
it in
that
this
up.
life. So what?
Yeah.
Because we can serve,
Yeah.
we can serve all life, but
Yeah.
we don't get it. We like stuck, you know.
Okay. Yes, so Krishna Prema is a gift. So you can't get it. And even so, we have to place ourselves in a position to receive as much mercy as possible. The mercy of Krishna is unlimited. You know, just like the sunshine, it's emanating unlimited light, and it's available for everyone. Some people decide to stay indoors, under the sleeping bag, and you know, they say, "Wow, I'm not getting any sunlight. What's the sun doing? I thought it was supposed to give unlimited." You know, it's like, wow, you know, you're in the sleeping bag. You're not going out there in the sun. So in the same way, we have to place ourselves in that position. So we need an attitude of gratitude, and this is said in this verse in the 10th canto by Lord Brahma. Tate anakampa shukshimikshimano bhujena iratmukutam vipakam vipavapabi vedanta namaste jivete yo mukti padesa daya bhak. That Lord Brahma prays, "Oh my Lord, your devotee patiently waits for your mercy." At the same time, he has to suffer the reactions of his past misdeeds. But even though he suffers these reactions, he still worships you with his heart, his body, and his words. And in this way, the kingdom of God becomes his rightful claim. And this Dayabhak is referring to like an heir. You know, if someone's rich, has a rich father or something, all they have to do is stay alive and they get the riches, right? So all we have to do is stay alive in Krishna consciousness. So we will have to suffer the reactions of our past misdeeds. We're in Kali Yuga, means we stuffed up pretty badly. So then, when these reactions come, we don't take it out on Krishna. I will still serve Krishna no matter what. Either with heart, within, either with words, chant the holy name, or with your body. And then the kingdom of God becomes your rightful claim. And you may not get prema in this lifetime, but by the blessings of the devotees, of the spiritual master, of the parampara, you'll get at the door. I'm just repeating my spiritual master here. And I believe him. and he went, you know. So yeah.
How to understand that I'm going the right way in my service? What should happen? Because sometimes, like, we're serving, but we don't develop ourselves. Like, we don't
Yes.
going up. And what's the signs of what I'm doing everything right? Like, I'm developing in bhakti.
Yes. It's hard to say day by day. So if you were to look yourself maybe a year back or 5 years back, your consciousness or your relationship with Krishna has become much stronger compared to now. So that means there's progress. That's one way. Another way is to consult the spiritual master. It's also a very powerful way to understand if you're progressing and what you need to work on. Yeah, just asking him, are you satisfied with my service? And they say, no, yeah. Because if you can't see the guru physically, you message him or you pray within the heart like this. He's a transcendental personality. Shri Gurudeva. We are also praying for his mercy to do such bold preaching what we're doing now.
He should be here in April,
Jai Ho. Okay. I think the offering's done. I think it's time to feed the army. The army runs on the belly. And thank you so much for coming and giving your association. Please accept my humble obeisances. Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Thank you so much.